previous presentation. I am an instructor. I am a Korean instructor at MSSU, and I am here to talk about language and culture today. Are you ready? Yes? Okay. And I want to talk about how language affects our thinking system and how, therefore, our thinking system can be very different from the speaker of another language. Okay? Let's start by watching this video.
In some Asian cities, it's considered acceptable for a commuter to fall asleep on the shoulder of a stranger. In New York, it's quite a different story. Of course, you can always adapt. We're the global bank that never underestimates the importance of local knowledge. HSBC, the world's local bank.
Story number 2.
The English believe it's a slur on your host's food if you don't clear your plate. Whereas the Chinese feel you're questioning their generosity if you do. At HSBC, we never underestimate the importance of local knowledge. Which is why we have local banks staffed by local people in over 80 countries across the globe.
Okay.
In America, if you had a hole-in-one, you're expected to buy everyone a drink. However, in Japan, it's traditional to buy your playing partners expensive gifts.
Same old.
At HSBC, we never underestimate the importance of local knowledge. HSBC, the world's local bank.
All right, we're going to talk about this. So we have some cultural differences, right? Yes, as we can see in these situations, right? Yes? Okay, so I'm sure that you sometimes wonder, how come that Asian person reacts that way? How come they don't look at me in the eyes? Something like that, right? So where do these cultural differences come from? As a language teacher, I think there are many sources for these cultural differences. However, I think it comes mainly from language. Okay? And then we're going to examine how language affects our thinking today. Okay? I want you to C? How many people say B? How many people think C is closer? Okay. All right. If you ask the same question, this question in Korea, 90% would say B is closer. Polar opposite of what we are seeing in this room. Okay. Why do you think that is? Okay, so those of you who chose C as something that's closer to A, what was your reasoning? Why?
The shape.
Shape, okay, and then the function, it's going to fit the same mold or same puzzle or something, right? Okay, those of you who chose B, how many people chose B? Okay, so you just found, congratulations, you just found out that you're Korean. Okay, so, all right, so what was your, why? Why did you do that? Same texture. Yes. It's closer, but yes, that's why I said more similar. Like in the parentheses. Okay, so yes, not proximity. So maybe those of you who are confused and chose B, I need to get rid of. I need to take away your Korean status. Sorry. Okay, so most Koreans would choose B. Why? Because they are more concerned about material, where it came from, essentialism. And C, those of you who are who chose C as your answer, you're more concerned about functions. Okay, just in like Western world. So this will be a self-discovery session, as well as learning about Korean culture too. So, all right, are you ready for the next question? Okay. What is a language? Can anyone? Communication. Okay. Anybody else? History of people, okay? Okay.
Symbolic exchange.
Symbolic exchange, okay? Strangely, whenever we have a group of people, like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 100 people, there is a language in any shape or form in human society, okay? And then you have this picture or something in your head. You want to give this message, convey this message to another person. And then you use your vocal cord, using your vocal cord, and then you say something, you utter something, and then the other person somehow gets it. That's the language, right? Yes? Okay, so. Okay, and then there's a hypothesis called Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. The language you speak determines how you think. Do you think that is true? Maybe. But somehow influences how you think, right? All right, let's take a look at a tribe called Gugu Imiter. Okay? They are in Australia. Okay, it's a tribe in Australia. In this group of people, they don't have the word for left, right, front, or back. Everything is absolute direction. Okay? Like north, south, west, and east. Okay? And then they have an exceptional abilities which direction anything is. Just like I told you in my first presentation, we have really, really good spatial memories. Okay? They have an exceptional directional sense. So many scientists got really, really curious. So they got children from this tribe, and then they put them in dark room, have them speak so many times, and then kids, which direction is the east? They'll just point, and then as if they have internal compass. However, because they don't have the relative direction, such as left or right, they cannot tell you, they cannot use something that we use every day with no problem. You want to take a guess what it is? Anybody? They don't know how to tell each other how to use microwave. So how would you tell someone how to use microwave? You put some food in there, and then you turn the knob to the right. But depending on where the microwave is, it changes constantly, right? So they cannot do that. They have hard time. And then in this passage it says, if you are getting a massage or giving a massage, someone would say, could you just do a little bit more to the east? Rather than, so you could be giving a massage to someone and they say, oh, that's good, just a little more to the west. Can you imagine that? So they see the world in a very different light, right? Isn't that interesting? Okay, so let's talk about something closer. Okay, we have many names for different colors, right? In our culture. In Russian culture, there are many more words for blue. Blues. There are different shades of blues. Okay? Even the word blue, I think they have two names for that. And it's kind of hard to see here, but okay, so let's say you're a subject in an experiment, and then you're here. So which is this one identical to?
More like
Left or right?
Right.
Oh, east or west? Okay. Which one? Right.
Right.
Okay. So actually, many people, unless you are colorblind or visually challenged, you can tell it's the right one that's identical, right? The Russians can do this, go through this test like 2 to 3 times faster than Americans. Why? All your life, you're conditioned to differentiate different shades of blues. So your brain is primed to distinguish different shades a lot faster. So it's a lot more sensitive. Does that make sense? And then you can see this kind of phenomenon in different cultures, like Mongolia. They have many words for horses. Okay, and then if you go to a country where there are many different types of rice, they have a lot more words for rice. Okay, so language influences your brain. Okay, this is a test. Then I'm gonna actually turn it off. Try to turn it off. Okay. What did you see just now? Okay, could you write it? Could you write it? Could you write down what you just saw? If you remember any. guys hear that? Okay, so there was a big blue fish, and then a lot more yellow fish, and then vegetation and fish tank, right? Okay, and Chian, do you want to share what you saw?
Same as what she said.
Yeah, same as, okay. Anybody else? Okay,
Different sizes and different directions.
okay. What else? Anybody else? Yeah.
White sand. There's water.
Water,
Water.
just water, yeah.
But there's a white sand at the bottom.
White sand, okay. Anything else? Okay. Let's go back to this slide. Okay, so if you do, this kind of experiment in Asian countries, like with a lot of Asians, or like a lot of Chinese people or Japanese people, Korean people, they would talk about first, okay, the fish tank, okay, and then they talk about what's in the background, and then they talk about fish. Okay, that's the polar opposite of what you said. Okay, and then actually, if you put an eye movement tracking machine on these subjects, Asian subjects, with their eye movement goes from big, like big picture, and to more specific. Okay, and whereas people from Western culture, their eye movement moves from specific to general, and sometimes they just stay specific. They just like to focus on one thing. Okay, so why do you think this kind of, even just looking at the same picture, how come our perspectives are so different? Why do you think that happens? Any guess? Yes.
Americans are raised to be more independent, and say with the Asians be more culturally minded, family oriented.
Okay, so individualism versus collectivist society or something like that, do you think? Yeah, and why are we that way? Yes,
It's how we were brought up.
how we were brought up, okay? And then many times I think, just like the title of this presentation implies, I think it comes from language too. Okay, there are many other reasons, I'm sure. Okay. For Asians, it's a lot more important to be in a group, right? So individualism versus collectivism, okay? So, and I versus we culture. You guys all talked about that. And even when you think about the medicine, how we practice medicine in Eastern countries, in Western way, okay, it's totally different because in America, let's say you have a headache, or my heart is not. I have a digestion problem or something. What does your doctor give you? When you go to a doctor, what do they say? What does he say? Huh?
Treat the symptom or a pill.
Yes, with one specific area, right? But in Eastern medicine, they look at your body more holistically. They're more concerned about energy flows and the circulations, right? So Western culture is more good at concentrating on something and doing it well. So surgeries and things like that is a lot more advanced in Western culture or Western medicine than Eastern medicine, right? Right. So okay. So I want to talk to you about Korean finally. Okay. how do we introduce ourselves? Okay, so here, self-introduction. So, so here, America, Springfield, MSU, engineering major, family name, and first name. That's what it says. But so let's say the same person introduces himself here. I am Tom Jones, an engineering major at MSU in Springfield in America. Are they different? Slightly? Total opposite, right? So here, in Western culture, I is very important, and my name, my first name, and then family name, then my major, and the university, and city, and the country. Okay, so this one is more specific to general, right? And here, what's the trend here? Huh? More general to specific. Okay? Unless you understand, let's say you're learning Korean language, okay? And let's say you're a Korean trying to learn English. Without understanding this general trend, if you were to just memorize by repetition, you'll have a very hard time because you are constantly trying to go against your thinking system. So you have to do it. Oh, so their thinking system is the opposite, so I have to go their way. Do you understand? Okay. And next one, name. So family name first, and my name, my first name, right? And then American way is first name and last name. And date, let's look at the date. In Korean, you have to write what? The year, month, and date. Okay? American system is kind of confused or hybrid or something, right? So month and date and year, right? And many cultures, I think Mexico or something, they do date first, right? Date, month, right? Okay.
Military does.
Yeah, military does. Okay, and then let's take a look at the address, how Koreans would write address, okay? Country first, state, city, and district, and street, and then your house number. And then here, in America, we write the opposite way. Right? So no wonder we don't understand each other, right? Okay. Any questions so far? No? Okay. And let's look at more examples. Level 1 is, we say, 1 level. 2 level, 3 level. So we write level 1, level 2, level 3. And then when we talk about how many cars, we say cha means car, okay? Car first, car 1, car 2, car 3, and then the unit of car. Everything is, you don't have to write it now. This one. Okay, here, the Korean versus English. So you have to, when you speak in Korean, you have to talk about what first, general or specific? General, yes. So many times, the subjects are omitted because they You know what I'm talking about, right? So we don't even say it. Okay, and then we have to talk about the context. In what context are we saying this? So here, today, where, going. So, 오늘, 어디가. So that's, 오늘 means today. Okay? So out of today, where you go. Okay? And then the second one, in the class, the tallest person who is. That's, so we put the verbs at the end because we think that the verbs are the most specific things, right? And then the last one, 수업 끝나면 뭐 먹을 거야? That means if class ends, if, when, and what are you or are we going to eat? Something like that. But here, where are you going today? Who is the tallest person in the class? What are we having after class? So the order is totally opposite. Okay? It doesn't end there. Okay? Okay, here, another test. Another test. If you were to group two of these together, out of these three, which two would you group them? So how many people want to group bear and monkey? Bear and monkey. How many people want to group monkey and banana? Okay. How many people want to group bear and banana? Nobody? I'm so relieved. I don't have to send anybody to the hospital or anything, so that's good. No, just kidding. Okay, so what was the reasoning between, of grouping bear and monkey together? Huh? Animals. Animals, yes? Okay. And those of you who grouped banana and monkey together, why did you do it?
We associate,
Huh?
we associate monkeys eating with it.
Okay. So, and then if you were to, I think most of you chose this. Okay. And then if you were to do this test in Korea, 90% would group these two together. And these two, not so many. Like 9 to 1. 90% here, 10% here. Okay. Why would Koreans put these two together? Yes.
Same environment.
Same environment? Okay. They're more, what? Anybody else? Just, no? Okay, so, all right, so they think it's more, they're related because, what? There's a relationship, right? The food, you know? Monkey eats bananas. They see those two as belonging to the same group. Okay, let's talk about I. We Americans love I, me, myself, and I, right? Yes. Okay, so I, in different situations, do we change I, the pronoun? I mean, you know, objective me, and, you know, but we don't change, right? We always put I as I, no matter what, right? But that is not the case. Koreans are so relationally oriented. The language reflects that. Okay, so I many times, let's say I'm talking to a group of students, okay? Then what is my role? What is my role? Teacher. Then instead of saying I want to say teacher. I'm going to refer myself as teacher. And then I'm talking to my children. Mother. Okay? And then, okay, let's watch this video. You know this song? You know how to... Okay, here he says, "Oppan Gangnam Style," right? Oppa means older brother of a girl. Okay, so by just calling himself Oppa, you know that he's talking to someone. Who is he talking to? Who are his audience? Huh? Younger girls. Yeah, actually, yeah, siblings too. Yeah, younger siblings, younger girls actually. Okay, so he's trying to date some of them or something. He's trying to be cool or something like that. So yourself, even changes. Okay, so the pronoun can change all the time. And Koreans are a lot more relationally oriented than Japanese people. Okay, Japanese people are they care about group and function more than Korean people. If you compare two cultures, do you guys know that Japanese and Korean people go to public bathhouse? Right? Do you guys know? So you have to undress yourself in front of strangers, right? And then that's very unthinkable, for many Americans, but we do that like as if it's nothing, right? And then many times in Japanese bathhouse, like let's say you're a guy, you go to men's section, right? And then you're butt naked, and then this lady comes into your section, and then you're like, oh my God, it's a woman, and I'm naked, and you're so shocked, but nobody cares because everybody else sees her as a person who just does cleaning or whatever in the bathhouse. Okay? And then they even vice versa. Let's say for some reason they had some technical problems in women's section of bathhouse. Let's say some guy just comes to the women's section, and then the women, they just go about doing their own thing. They don't even care. I mean, can you imagine? You're naked, and some guy comes to the bathhouse. I mean, even in Korea, we'll have riots, something. Yeah, something like that. But there are cultural differences. Okay. Even when we go to restaurants, okay, so let's say in America, you go to a restaurant, you just order what you like, right? Yes? And then what you order, does it change if you go to the same restaurant all the time? Or depending on who you're with? No, right? And then Americans eat your food, whatever you order. We don't share that much. Not too much, right? But in Korean culture, what you order at a particular restaurant changes depending on who you're with. It depends on the other person, what the other person orders. Because you're going to share, basically, and then let's say the other person ordered chicken, you have to order like beef or noodles or something different. Does that make sense? So you're very concerned about what other people are doing, what other people are ordering, or what do they like, or something like that. Does that make sense? What they like and what they're doing? Yes, totally different perspective. So let's say you're with 5 different people. One person orders chicken, the other person orders beef, and then you might order soup or noodle or something like that to have more variety. It's for the whole group, not just you. And in Korean, we rarely say my something. It's our school, our family. And we take it to the extreme. So Americans horror, we say our wife, our husband. And then you're like, what? How many husbands, how many wives are there? It's ours, but we mean my, but our language, the usage, it's more common to say our something. So our sister, our mother, our father, our school, country, and so on. Okay, so I want to ask you, so if you keep thinking this way, do you think your language reflects your thinking system, and then by language, your thinking is affected or influenced, right? Yes? Okay. So but I want to end my presentation this way. I actually highlighted differences up to now, differences between Korean culture or Asian culture and American culture or Western culture. But when you try to communicate with another person, they're just like you, who care about people, other people, their family. They worry about their family. They love their family. They have happy days, sad days. So just think of it as human communication. Okay, so language and culture, there are differences, but I think we can totally overcome them. And then by understanding other cultures, I think we can broaden